You have probably heard
how warm, friendly, and festive Latin people are.
That's probably true.
But that's just half of the story.
Latin American people can also be very, very productive, efficient, competent, great business partners. I've been living in Europe for 13 years, and as a Colombian doing business here, I always see opportunities. For me, Europe has been a region that has taught me a lot with regards to my analytical thinking, strategy, more deliberation, and a bit more systematic way to do things. And that I find complements very well my Latin spirit, which is always full of passion, creativity, innovation, and that a spark that I love to have. It happens that I'm not the only one, actually, and that's something that you can see everywhere when you see so many leaders from Latin America that just inspire the world with amazing projects. And that's what I saw in the last edition of the Latin American Leaders Awards, organized by the Global School for New Leadership, which it happens every year. And for me, this is just a reminder of how awesome Latin American is for business and as an opportunity for many companies or global leaders too. So here there are 3 key reasons to do business with Latin America. First is a region in constant growth. You can find more than 650 million people and a rising middle class, meaning people with a high professional background or with a high purchasing power that actually look for quality services, for professional services, for credible companies and trustworthy. And that's a great opportunity for many companies, many countries, and for many projects to be done there. I also think it's very important to know that there's a massive digital adoption in Latin America.
Internet connectivity is great, sometimes even better than in Europe.
And you have a very, very high demand for technological services, for AI services. So there is a huge gap and a huge opportunity for this economic growth in this region. Secondly, one aspect that I really love to mention is the cultural affinity with Europe. And that's very important for business trust and for doing great relationships in business. So that can be explained by many, many factors. Of course, cultural affinity is a huge thing, but you can also refer it as admiration, perhaps, from both regions. On the one hand, you will have the Enlightenment Association of Europe, the institution, reputation, the credibility and trust that you have in many institutions in Europe, and also the way things are done, right? The systems, how they are, that they function quite well. There's a high perception from most Latin American countries with that regard. But also, I will say, there's this emotional connection from both sides with regards to lifestyle. You can have a great lifestyle with regards to vibrant people, warmth, passionate people, and this sort of community aspect that is everywhere in Latin America and that, we all love. But on the other hand, we also like
lifestyle from European cultures,
where things are done in a rigorous, systematic way, and this sort of soft and beautiful culture that we all love here, right? So I find that there's a lot of admirations from both cultures that in result we can have a great cultural affinity, which is amazing for business. And last but not least, my favorite factor is people. Talent. I find, particularly in the last 5 years, an explosion of talent and innovation coming from Latin America. Perhaps for the digital transformation, perhaps because of globalization, perhaps because many professionals are traveling more, so they have a bigger sense of the global perspective in their minds. I really don't know. But the more I know Latin American leaders that come to Europe in the recent years, I have really come to learn how great this talent and massive opportunities for creating teams, for inspiring projects, for many, many things. So think about it. You have a young, dynamic workforce who wants to conquer the world, right? And have great ideas, inspiring projects. And on the other hand, you have a region in Europe that is more rigorous, methodic, that has great systems to provide infrastructure, let's say a structure in general to do things. So in my mind, how I see it is always an opportunity, always a reason to make more bridges and to make more business happen. Because at least for me, economic factors are one of the important ways to make more people happy, inspired, and working in a nice way.
That's why I do this video.
But of course, we cannot deny that it's not that simple, that is easier said than done. And of course, there are plenty of opportunities to do more economic growth and businesses with Latin America and Europe. There is always the key question:
how to do this?
That's why I'm going to do a second video to tell you, in my view, what are the most important things to consider when you actually decide to do business in Latin America, how to get this done in a nice way. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments, for sharing, and please subscribe if you haven't done it, and keep being inspired.